Hey there, YouTube. This is Daniel back in the shop. This is my latest contraption here. Try my hand at freestyle fabrication. I needed another part for the gun range, the shooting competition. So I made this from scratch. We'll get the other camera and I'll show you some of the details that I did. The main thing I wanted to use was a lot of the scraps that I had, and so we was able to make something work. I did have to buy a piece of PVC because I didn't have any pipe. But other than that, this is what it turned out to be. Worked out really well. This is what I used to use, and it was just kind of cumbersome, getting hooks and everything on it. The baby buggies work really well, especially on ranges that has a big rock, large rock and stuff on the ground. But I only shoot at one range now. I only shoot I-Core. I done gave up everything else. But this is what I used to have. And they're very lightweight, but it just became cumbersome. So what this provided me, it gave me some good wheels. The wheels are really great. Actually, the wheels are on bearings. And so that's why I kept those. Worked out good. But we'll get the other camera and we'll get some detail on this thing here. We'll get some detail on it. So let's start with the base. I had some expanded metal, but what I wanted to do, I wanted to practice on getting some welding, time in, and trying to use some ideas. I'm not really a creative person, but I can make right angles and left angles and stuff like that. So what I did is use the Evolution saw, and I was able to cut my miter cuts. And thankfully, it came out square. It really wasn't no talent on my part, but just learning how to really take measure, double checking, measure twice, cut one. So practice on my miter cuts, got the square base done. Then I figured I probably need a brace in the middle. So I put that brace in there. Then I tack welded the expanded metal down. And all that was to make it light, where it's easy to pick up. Okay, so that's what that was. Now here's the wheels they're talking about. This here was on the baby carriage. The great thing about this, you can push this lever here, and the front wheels will come off. Unfortunately, on the back wheels, I wasn't that lucky, and so I had to modify those. What I originally did, I couldn't find any piping the right inside diameter. I put a micrometer on it and measured the outside diameter of the wheel stud, but it did not work well for me. And so I bought some 1/2-inch PVC, put it in there, made a bushing to make the wheel stand out a little bit. You can't see it on here, but I ended up buying some C-clamps because it had a groove cut in it. Right past this part had a groove that was about 1/8 of an inch. So I put some C-clamps on there, or spring clips, I guess is what you call them. And they didn't work out too well. So what I did, I came back, and if they didn't work out too well, I didn't know if this was stainless or what it was, whatever that is. You can probably see it better here. So what I did, I just had a washer to take up some space. Then I just ran a weld here, put a tack here, tack over here, and but I couldn't tell what kind of metal it was. But I'm grateful that the tack weld held onto it. We got it pretty hot. And but you can see here the wheels are on bearings, and so they roll really smooth, and there's no air in the wheels, so that's great for me going on the range. We won't waste time looking at the welds because they're terrible, but I got a lot of practice in. So this is what I mean by this right here. This is really cool. I took this off the baby carriage, the stroller, and then had a nut and bolt to go in here. Bought a piece of 1/2-inch pipe, because I need it. This here was threaded, so I drill a hole inside this 1/2-inch pipe, black pipe used for gas lines, and got a nut and bolt on there, and then I welded that up really good on there. And I put this in the vise. I don't have a metal bender, but I put it in the vise with a cheater pipe. Got my 90-degree here, got my 90-degree here, and then welded it onto the bottom on that. So that's how I didn't know how to get my rake like you do on a motorcycle chopper, to have the wheel standing the way out. So I had to use a right angle. Like I said, I can make right and left bends pretty easy with the vise. So this is 14 gauge 1-inch square tubing, number 13 expanded metal. Like I said, the wheels came off a baby stroller. This right here is 1/2 inch rebar. The frame is 3/8 rebar on the frame. And then I mocked up me a little handle for the back. So what I did here, took a piece of square tubing. This was a little bit thicker, 0.125. Welded onto here. Put the 5/8 rebar is what the handle is made out of. Put the 5/8 rebar in there. Welded on the top and on the bottom. We won't look at the welds, they're not that pretty. So came up and I wanted to try a new trick that I saw, spot welding and stuff like that. So I drill a 5/8 hole in this. This is a 1-inch square tubing. I put my rubber stoppers in each end. But I drill a 5/8 hole right there. And then this is probably a 1/2 inch hole. So, and I took a grinder and grinded down the rebar to where this will slide down so it touch flush here. Then I came and ran a weld in here. It's not that pretty, but it ain't coming loose on there. So, and then I needed a brace, a hook. So I took some 3/8 rebar. The only reason I use 3/8 because it's easy to bend, and it was kind of hard. You can see how I'm off, but I was trying to hold it and then get a tack weld with the other hand. I couldn't get my magnets set up right to hold those level, but when I put everything on it, you'll see how it is. It's gonna work out great. It wasn't no talent, it was just luck. When I ran this across, it happened to touch this right here, so that gave me another point of support, gave me another chance to practice some more welds until I welded on here, flipped it upside down, and put a weld across the bottom. So that worked out great. And this here's I think I went a 1.5 outside, because what I did, I made a mistake and put these too close inside, but I needed enough room to weld on the outside, so I kind of went in. And what I did is, when I ran this bar across, I went 1.5 inches out. 1.5 inches out, and so that got me back lined up with the outside frame. That's what I did on that. The other deal on the to get the wheel stick out, I took some 1 1/8 angle iron, cut it, weld it to the frame, then drill holes in the middle for the wheels to fit, and that got me a wider stance for support. And so I'm really tickled to death that it actually worked. I'm tickled to death that it actually came out as good as it came out. There's no patent pending on this, so you can copy if you want to. You feel free to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint it black. Because it's for me and not for nobody else, I decided I wasn't going to waste the time to grind out the welds. If it was for somebody, if somebody was paying me for this, I would grind those out before painting. But it's just for my personal use. And so let me get it loaded up, show you how it's going to work out in the field. Okay, we got it all loaded up. Again, like I said, I made a mistake when I was doing the front wheel. I didn't bend it enough to get that up to have it level. When it was on the table, I put the leveler on it and it was level. But once I welded it up and got it together, I realized on that bar going to the front, I didn't bend it enough. So it's not removable, so I'm gonna have to live with that until I can figure out a way to bend it. That 1/2 inch rebar, if I can bend it some more, that'll raise the front up. But I'm satisfied with it. Ruger GP100 goes in there. Ammo is in there. Moon clips in here. That's the ice chest, water, drink, snacks. And then this is my stool that I use to sit on it. And so part of what I do, I probably throw the earmuffs on here, because we usually wear the earmuffs all the time when we're out there. If you're not shooting, somebody else is shooting, so usually have the earmuffs on, so I just hang them there for now. And then the other thing that I may do is if I ever need another bracket for the gun belt, I have one of those foil-in gun belt with Velcro and all that stuff, but there's enough room there, I can just throw it there and forget about it, because it's not a big issue. So hopefully this will work. If I have any more problems, I can see this may be coming out like this. I may come back and put a bar right there. Those deals, these here was 6 inches long. These was 22. Probably 23 because I had 1.5 inches on the bars going across. But very pleased with it. I think it's going to work out great. We'll go out here and run around in the grass, kind of simulate the terrain that we have at the gun range. Surprised it even worked. That's my first foray into fabricating off the cuff. I'm using not smart enough to do the design, cut all the pieces, clean up all your pieces. I just use it to go as I do it. If I put the wheel on and I say, well, you got to put a cage on, you got to put a bottom, and go like that. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Bye. See you on the next one.